Aviva, Ireland's largest insurer, is marking the 10-year anniversary of the official opening of the Aviva Stadium and its proud long-term sponsorship of the iconic venue. To celebrate this milestone, Aviva are paying tribute to some of the most iconic sporting moments of the past decade. Feel free to join in. You can follow Aviva Ireland on Instagram and Twitter and share your favourite Aviva Stadium memories using the hashtag #SafeToDream. Now, this week we're doing football, next week we're doing rugby, and Nathan Murphy is with us this morning. Nathan, good morning to you.
How are you getting on?
I'm very well. I'm very excited about this. How do we whittle this down?
Well, we leave it up to the general public is how we whittle this down. I've got together a 8-game shortlist and an 8-moment shortlist. As you say, all of football this week will go to rugby next week, and there have been quite a few memorable moments at the Aviva Stadium over the last decade. So I've whittled it down to 8, and we're going to have a couple of polls today, a couple tomorrow for the quarterfinals, then we'll get into the semi-finals on Wednesday and Thursday before we crown the greatest Aviva Stadium football moment on Friday.
And so what are the 8? Can you tell us, or are you just revealing 2 today? How does it work?
No, I'll tell you them all, because there's a poll up right now if you go on to Add Off the Ball. The first of them is Shane Long against Germany. You might remember this year. Beat the world champions. Shane Long with the goal in 70 minutes. Up against the 2019 FAI Cup Final. FAI Cup Finals, a remarkable record since moving to the Aviva Stadium a decade ago. 10 FAI Cup Finals. 7 of them have gone to extra time. 4 of them have gone to penalties. And the 2019 one, the one just gone, was one of those that went to penalties, and one of the most dramatic games I've been at. It had one of my favourite things, which is the completely unexpected goal. It was a brilliant game, 2 best teams in the country, Shamrock Rovers against Dundalk. Very, very tight. Last minute, Rovers get a penalty. Aaron McInnes puts them in front, and that's it. The game is done. People are walking out of the stadium. Shamrock Rovers, they've ended their long wait to win an FAI Cup. And then out of absolutely nothing, 93rd minute, last kick of the game, Michael Duffy scored this absolute worldy volley from the edge of the area for Dundalk to send it into extra time and into penalties. It will go down as probably one of the most memorable goals in Irish football history if Dundalk managed to go on and win it.
I feel for that game slightly, it's unfortunate that it's going up against an all-time classic where we beat the world champions.
It is, but there were so many FAI Cups that you could have put into this, because, again, there's just so much drama in all of them. Listen, Shane Long obviously was a moment that brought the nation together on Camden Street at 4 a.m. in the morning, and it's always going to be hard to match that. always going to be hard to match that. But I think definitely that 2019 Cup Final deserves to be on this shortlist, and ends then. Duffy unfortunately misses his penalty in the shootout, and Rovers go on and win the Cup for the first time since 87. So that's the first one. That one is up online now. That'll be there until lunchtime. Get your votes in. Maybe the Dundalk supporters and the Shamrock Rovers supporters with no football on at the moment can come together and unite and vote that 2019 final into the semi-final and just get rid of Shane Long. Show it is the domestic football that this should be all about. A little bit later then, the second semi-final is going to be the first match at the Aviva Stadium, which was Argentina and Lionel Messi coming to town. They beat Ireland 1-0. No Giovanni Trapattoni. He was in hospital recovering from surgery. So Marco Tardelli was in charge that day. Angel Di Maria scored the only goal of the game. Messi, though, standing ovation when he came off after an hour. Ran the show, as you would expect. It was Robbie Keane's 100th cap that day. The 2 number 10s, obviously very much the centre of attention. But anytime Messi comes to town, I'm sure for an enormous amount of people, it will be the only time that they have seen and will see Lionel Messi in the flesh, live, in action. And it's a home game. It's the first match in the new stadium. You want to start on the right foot. Unfortunately, didn't happen, but it was Messi in town.
Yeah, so we need to win. I think that one, again, an amazing event. We'll see. It
was either that or we go for, our first win.
Well, when the
first goal,
when the rugby one happens,
Kevin Kilbane heads home against Andorra. We could have gone for that.
Mighty Andorra, yeah, okay.
That's going to go up against the 2010 FAI Cup Final.
Right, what happened then?
2010, this is one of the craziest games of all time. Kieran Kelly, I love to get a bit of mayo into all these things, a good Ballon Road man, saves all 4 penalty kicks in the shootout against Shamrock Rovers. So Rovers, again, this long wait. 0-0 after 90 minutes. Crowd of over 36,000 is the biggest at an FAI Cup final for over 40 years. It's, I think, 25,000 more than we're at the 2009 FAI Cup final, and starts this trend of extra time and penalties. So 0-0 after 90 minutes. and Kieran Kelly steps up and saves all 4 penalties to win it for Sligo Rovers. And incredibly then, the year after, he's on the bench. Sligo are back in the cup final yet again playing Shelburne. He's on the bench, and they bring him on at the last minute of extra time for the shootout, and he saves 2 more penalties, and they win it again.
That's pretty impressive.
So Kieran Kelly saving all 4 penalties in a shootout, I think very much he deserves his place on this shortlist. So it'll be Lionel Messi against Kieran Kelly, essentially.
I was going to say that I think that when we're doing the rugby next week, that New Zealand scoring the try to beat Ireland in the last minute is one of the all-time great Aviva moments, because of what happens after it, because of what went before it, because it's like, oh, this is going to be a lifetime of pain that we are always having inflicted upon us. Now that we've actually beaten them since, and again at the Aviva, I think that sometimes defeats can be hugely important moments in sports culture.
Well, when you're Irish, they're certainly hugely important moments in our culture. And yeah, I think that Ryan Crotty try will most certainly be on the list. There were options, obviously, for the heartbreaking nights, like the humiliation of the 6-1 against Germany. Tomorrow in the quarterfinals, we are going to have one of those nights. But we're going to go for the 20 minutes of just pure joy when we thought we were going to the World Cup finals. When Shane Duffy scored that goal, scored that header right at the start of the game against Denmark, when all our dreams looked like they were going to come true. We were going to have a beautiful month in Russia, touring after the Republic of Ireland squad. And then Christian Eriksen stepped up and broke our little Irish hearts. And that was a tough night. So we'll go for Shane Duffy's goal as a moment, because I don't remember, even with Shane Long's goal, I don't remember 10 minutes and 20 minutes of just pure joy and excitement and belief. Considering we got to Denmark, a few days earlier, and there was really nothing between the sides. No. We had yet to see really anything of Christian Eriksen. We got through almost half an hour of a game before even seeing anything of Christian Eriksen. And then when it did, well, obviously it all went horribly, horribly wrong. And there was some tactical mistakes at half time. And it ended up being one of the worst nights I think anybody's ever had supporting the Republic of Ireland. So tomorrow, Shane Duffy's goal is on the shortlist. That'll go up against another FAI Cup final, the 2016 FAI Cup final. Seanie Maguire, last kick of the game to win it for Cork City against Dundalk. These two obviously have had a massive rivalry in the FAI Cup 3 years in a row. They met in it. Dundalk won in 2015 in extra time. Then Seanie Maguire does this in 2016. And then Cork won again in 2017 on penalties. But this was probably the most dramatic moment of the three. Again, game done, dusted. Everyone's expecting penalties. Drops to Seanie Maguire inside the area. Twists, turns. Probably doesn't get the best connection. Takes a little deflection. And there's this agonising as it just trickles over the line as Dundalk realise that they're not going to win it. They're not going to do the double. And the Cork are going to win the FAI Cup. So I think Seanie Maguire, for the sheer drama, a last-second winner, injury time winner in extra time in an FAI Cup final, I think deserves its place on a shortlist. Again, there were so many from an FAI Cup final point of view. You could have gone for Pats, winning it in 2014. They hadn't won it for 53 years. But the final one tomorrow is going to see John Walter's goals against Bosnia. So this is the last quarter-final. John Walter's goals against Bosnia when he got us to Euro 2016. Obviously, we'd had the first leg over in Zelina, a 1-1 draw in the fog. And while it was a game, I think everyone was quite confident. There was also a sense of, well, we have an ability to screw these things up. It's at home. How often do we dominate matches against teams? Rarely, if ever. Even though Ireland are the better side, could Edin Dzeko come to town and do some serious damage? So eventually, John Walters stepped up. We got a lot of luck. You might remember that first penalty kick, where it was a little cross inside the area from Darryl Murphy that sort of caught the trailing arm of a Bosnian defender and gave us the penalty. John Walters slots it away. Second one was a brilliant, brilliant finish. Walters had missed the first leg through suspension. And again, much like the night of the Shane Long goal, a good night in Dublin was had by everybody afterwards. So
I see a theme here. It's your personal celebration of the events that causes whether or not you remember fondly what happened, essentially.
I think, hey, listen, who didn't party after that night? We're going to Euro 2016. We're going to spend 5 weeks in an apartment in Versailles. If that's not worth celebrating, what is? So I think John Walters more than deserves his place on this. And he's going to go up against probably one of the more heartwarming moments at the Aviva, which was the friendly against England back in 2015 when Jack Charlton returned to the Aviva Stadium back in Dublin and was brought out onto the pitch before the match and receives this standing ovation. And you can see he's totally overcome by the occasion, his head in his hands, tears in his eyes, and probably a last opportunity at that stage for the Irish people to say thanks to Jack Charlton for everything that he's done. Obviously, we've been enjoying and indulging in a lot of nostalgia around Italia 90 and USA 94 over the last few weeks, and a chance for probably the younger Irish supporters to see Jack Charlton and to say thanks for everything he did. I just thought it was such a special moment that really does stand out from the last 10 years. So Jack Charlton very much on that last date as well.
Right, so let's be having you. As we've said, Aviva, Ireland's largest insurer, is marking the 10-year anniversary of the official opening of the Aviva Stadium and its proud long-term sponsorship of the iconic venue. And to celebrate that milestone, Aviva are paying tribute to some of the most iconic sporting moments of the last decade. We want you to join in. You can follow Aviva Ireland on Instagram and Twitter and share your favourite Aviva Stadium memories using the hashtag #SafeToDream.